What's up, everybody? Welcome to Arkham Comics presents Aaron Reviews Comics. Today we're going to be talking about The Incredible Hulk number 709 and The Mighty Thor number 700. Let's do it. So The Incredible Hulk number 709, it's Return to the Planet Hulk Part 1. Amadeus Cho has placed himself in a quarantine to try and test himself to keep from losing control as the Hulk when he receives a distress signal from Sakaar, and thus begins the return of a Hulk to the planet that another Hulk had already set free. So the new Green Scar is thrown into a gauntlet competition as an attempt to champion for the people so that they would be left alone by the Warlord. It's an interesting story to see what has happened to Sakaar after Banner's Hulk set them free, and many of the people feel they had been abandoned, while others still refer to him as the World Breaker. And even when he tries to tell them that he's not that same Hulk, it's merely just disregarded. What's amazing about this issue is the introduction of the Warlord and the true brutality that he brings along with him. I also love seeing the moment where it registers to Cho's Hulk that on this planet he can be injured. This issue has a rather explosive ending, setting up for what is sure to be an epic battle between the Warlord and the Hulk. And finally, we get a teaser for issue 710, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but what I can say is good Lord, yes. So let's talk about The Mighty Thor issue number 700, The Death of the Mighty Thor Part 1. Thor is brought in front of Karnilla, the Queen of the Norns, at the roots of the World Tree as she asks for his protection for her people. Malekith is threatening to unravel fate in an attempt to write his own future. Thor swears his protection for her people, even as another attack from Malekith's army begins. From there, we get thrown into New York as Jane's Thor fights a mentally broken She-Hulk and a flashback of how the fight started. I can't give you more on this part because it's an important part of the story that you need to pick up the issue to see it for yourself. Volstagg returns in this issue after losing his mind in battle and gets a rather electric reintroduction, which launches immediately into the past, where a young Thor has a classic "you can't tell me what to do" argument with Odin. It parallels Thor's attempt at trying to prove himself as worthy. Thrown into a distant future, we get to see a different version of Thor who's telling the story of how he triumphed over a certain World Eater, who looks pretty epic in this issue, I might add. And we get to see the battle of not him and Thor, but what he is currently up to in a fantastic battle between two classic cosmic entities. The issue jumps back to the beginning, and it starts revealing how each of these fights go, along with some pretty epic twists. This issue is a definition of epic storytelling. How each of the individual stories comes full circle is just brilliant, and each different story has a different art style, which is always fun to see, especially when it's done this well. The story is so large and it's so deep that you have to read it for yourself to see everything that happens. There are so many villains that appear in this issue and such a larger story underneath that you can see the impact this will have over all of Marvel's stories. What I just gave you is merely the setup for how this 50-page issue progresses, so pick it up. Arkham Comics and Rocky Mountain Wilson have these issues for you to pick up tomorrow. They also have the lenticular variant covers as well. So for any of your comic needs and any of your toy needs, visit Arkham Comics and Rocky Mountain Wilson. That's all for today's entry of Aaron Reviews Comics. So until next week, get reading.